is going on, RotoGrinders? Dean here at Dean 7904 if you want to get all technical. I mean, it's 5:30 on the East Coast, 2:30 on the West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time, which, of course, we just have on the flagship show here at RotoGrinders. It is called Grinderslive. And joining me today is one Chris Kirkwood. The kids call him Kirk Dfs. He's rocking his Coca-Cola Classic. We're talking some Along Came Polly pre-show. I didn't even get a chance to talk some smack about the Miami Heat. Bam! SWAT! Get out of here, Tatum. Greatest block of all time.
Man. You just started off the show in a horrible way. So, man, I had forgotten about it for about 5-10 minutes because I drove to New Hampshire yesterday and hammered the Celtics last night in the first game, and it was just awful.
So legalized wagering in New Hampshire for you. How long of a trip is that for you?
35-minute drive.
Oh man, do you get to watch the game there? You can't look. You do it like
no. I went early. I've got my little spot.
Costco.
That too, but that's one of them. But I go. I've got this rest stop or a mall that I go to. But like the service, I've been going to a mall. And I told you, I think we talked about this last time because it was like a Back to the Future reference.
Sure.
I'm there late at night and nobody's there, and I'm in a parking lot. It feels like a drug deal. And but just to put in my wagers, but now the cell service has been bad there, so now I go to a rest area, and it feels great when you win because it's like the trip is worth it. When you lose, it's just awful.
Yeah, and you get no plutonium. You're coming home with no plutonium either. You just got a bad wager, unfortunately. And so let's to keep on the Back to the Future theme. Say you had the almanac. Who's winning that series? My Miami Heat versus your Boston Celtics.
Well, I'm driving back to New Hampshire tomorrow.
Boston -2. What's the line? I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's -2.5, 3 now. But I'm gonna probably take him on the series.
Yeah, it'll be fun for sure. And I feel like it's we're on borrowed time with Miami. Like it's just like Denver. Denver beating the Clippers, that was just crazy. And congrats to them, Jokic and Murray. I think it's the first time ever a team down 3-1 two times has advanced in the same season, which is incredible. The Clippers are now like something like 0-8 historically on advancing to the finals when they have one game to go forward. They just need to get a W, and it's pretty wild what's going on in the association. But of course tonight, hey, we're talking about baseball. Talking some NBA. No, not NBA. That's what we just talked about for a second ago. MLB, 9-game slate going down. Do want to say, did you get a sharp side winner? We didn't discuss this pre-show. I happen to be. I'm on the cusp, Kirk D's. I'm on the cusp. My streak right now for the Sharp Side app, we're going to go and drop that link in chat if you guys are not aware of Sharp Side app. If you get your streak to 6, you all of a sudden, every single time you get another winner, you get $10 more in FanDuel cash. You got to pick a winner that's -140 or less. Can't pick the massive favorites, obviously. Kirk D's, I'm at 5. I have a streak of 5 right now. Get excited for me.
Woo! You come so close, and then it's you got to restart over again once you lose. But
we're not losing tonight. You know who we have?
Who do you have?
We're living dangerously. We picked a team on the run line, which is usually that's frowned upon, especially at home. That's the worst.
If it's a home favorite, that's a fish bet in general. But
it's a fish bet. But like the Yankees right now are -300, and I got them at like -137 on the run line. That is a drastic difference. You got Garrett Cole on the bump. How many runs is Toronto really going to score? Maybe 3 or something like that. And Tanner Roark against this Yankee team. They got Judge back. All the boppers are there. Kind of, sort of, somewhat, not really exactly, but Tanner Roark is not very good. We saw him go off yesterday. Doesn't mean they're going to go off again today. But I got the Yankees at -135, -137 on the run line. You don't like that?
Yeah, sure. I'm bitter. Again, I drove to New Hampshire on Saturday, and I had a massive, too much money on a UFC play that the guy ended up going off at -599.
UFC.
Yeah, in UFC, Roosevelt Roberts, and he got choked out within 20 seconds. And man, it was so brutal. I was watching it with my girl, and he got hit right in the very beginning, the first little exchange, and he fell to the ground. I go, "Oh no, this is terrible." And my girl goes, "Relax, he's fine." I go, "No, he's not fine." And all of a sudden, he's choked out, and down goes a -600 favorite.
What? Which you laid the 600 to
100? No, I had it a much better line, but I had it in a massive parlay that I already had won. He was just the last leg of it, and it was not good.
We got Yisman in the chat just confirming I'm not making that up. I think he might have found my streak is actually legit. I wouldn't fake that for like some sort of credibility. I do have a streak of 5 going on. Yisman said he had a streak to 8. It just kind of broke out on him. So that's he won some money, but now he got to start all over again. Again, the link, go ahead and check it out. Devin, our fabulous multitasking producer, is dropping the link in chat for you guys. Also, we ask you guys to like, subscribe, smash. I can't remember what your adjective of choice is. You want to caress? You want to cuddle with? What do you want to do with that like button?
Caress it, baby.
So 9-game slate. I don't love the bats. This feels like an arm slate. We'll talk about it in a second. DK makes it so easy to get 2 big barrel arms. And then, obviously there's some really strong offenses out there. The aforementioned Yankees, Atlanta, against Baltimore looks pretty well positioned. They have a team total of 6 right now. Houston's got some pretty positive prices on DK. Nice matchup there against Kyle Gibson as well, too. Is that sort of your thought as far as the slate as we kind of dive in? We'll talk about pictures in a second, but give me your overview, your screenshot as far as how you're attacking this slate.
Oh, I love chat going, why would you bet Roosevelt Roberts? He's a stand-up fighter. He just got subbed.
I don't know.
No ground game. Like the guy he was fighting was awful and just got complete luck boxed into him. He caught him. But anyway, the skills were just mildly different, the pedigree of each guy. But anyways, is
that results-based thinking? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know much about MMA, so I have no clue if that's a good point or not a point. Got a good point they're making, but talk to me about this slate. How you're attacking?
I mean, they're just kicking me while I'm down. But anyway, this slate, DK. So it's way too easy to just fit in the top pitching, and it's pretty hard not to just want to do that because we've got 2 completely standout aces. We've got Garrett Cole against the Blue Jays, and he's been rounding into form after a couple of bumpy starts, but certainly starting to look like his old self. And we should have expected that, right? As they're getting, we're ramping up close to playoff time now, down to the last 2 weeks of the season.
Every team's making the playoffs, but the Red Sox. So congratulations on that.
No, kick me again. It's all right. I deserve it. It's just way too easy because there's value bats at like positions we don't really, that we are fine taking just a value bat in. We can jam like 2 value bats, Garrett Cole and DeGrom, and pretty much put any stack we want with it. So it's real easy to do that. So I guess it's what's ownership going to play into all this, and how are we going to win tournaments tonight?
Okay, so just want to note this. San Francisco, this is the way I understand this. San Francisco is playing in Seattle. Last night they were supposed to play in Seattle. The game was canceled because of air issues. Now they're back in San Francisco, where I guess the air is going to be decent enough to play. Obviously, there's fires going along all on the West Coast. Stay safe, everybody out there. So my understanding is they're playing in San Francisco, but San Francisco is playing the role of the visiting team, with Seattle playing the role of the home team. Is that the way you understand it as well?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted people to be aware of that, and I think that matters.
So it's like degree. Even better. So does that mean they're going to hit first?
Yeah, San Fran.
So it's even better. First. So now we're going to get 9 innings.
Yes,
we're going to get 9 at bats of San Fran.
I'd love for somebody to confirm that, but I was looking around for that. That's my understanding, and that's the way RG has it as well too. It says, San Fran at Seattle. Seattle's in the home spot, but again, they're in San Fran to play the game tonight. So San Fran's just going to be in their home ballpark playing the role of the visitor, which is weird, but 2020. I guess everything is weird in 2020. You did mention 2 stud pitchers. We'll break them down individually, but I would say there's 3. What about Lucas Giolito? Let's not completely ignore him. Now,
there's 3 studs for sure, but there's like 2 with matchup considerations that just absolutely, one's facing the Twins. Giolito's against the Twins. So we get DeGrom against the Phillies without Reese and Real Muto.
Terrible
and then
lineup.
Terrible lineup. So, let's just name off some of the guys in that lineup. So, we got McCutchen, Harper. Then we got Baum, Gregorius, Segura, Knapp, Kingery, Hazley, Roman Quinn. So this is a completely watered down lineup, and just a really good spot for him. And then we've got Garrett Cole against the Blue Jays, and that brings some strikeouts to the table too for there. So then you get the Twins, who yes, they will strike out, although not at the same rate that we're getting on the other matchups, but they just bring a lot of power to the table, a lot of potent bats. Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson, Max Kepler. So it's not very easy of a matchup. So, I mean, you just, yeah, sure. He can go toe to toe, especially for GPPs with an upside with any of them. And an ace can mow down any lineup. I always say that when they're on their game, and that's certainly true. But Cole and DeGrom with the matchups just are a clear level above in my eyes. It just makes it really easy from a pitcher standpoint, at least for cash games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure what I'm doing. And I mean, I hate saying for sure because I don't like to speak in definitives because weird things happen sometimes. But the plan is on DK that I'm going to be rolling out, much like everybody else is just going to say, all right, let's get Cole, let's get DeGrom. And the other part of it too is like you account for price, and Giolito's more expensive than Cole. I know Cole's had some home run issues this year. I know the K's aren't exactly where they were last year. They're still really, really good. He's got some great win equity as well too, more win equity than Giolito has. On FanDuel, I think it's more of an interesting conversation because Giolito is a difference. The difference in price at least makes you think about it, and I think he's worth at least in tournaments. That's basically what I'm playing over there for the most part on FanDuel. You're playing Yahoo. What's the story? What's the lay of the land? I presume you're playing Yahoo. You kind of control that lobby over there, basically. Yeah. So it's the same sort of idea on Yahoo, or is it a little trickier as far as the cap?
It's a little trickier. I'm probably going to pay up for Cole and DeGrom because I usually value pitching the most over there. But it's tougher to get the bats in. There's not as many, which is not normal. Normally there's not as many. There's way more glaring values on Yahoo than there are on DraftKings, but it's not quite the same for tonight. Like some of the cheaper guys are priced up. There are some value bats, and you can certainly make it work, but you can't fit in like any stack you want. Especially if after the Yankees yesterday, I'm sure all really priced up. So that's how they do it. But anyways, it's much tougher, but I think I'm still going with it. But McCullers is super cheap now. We'll get into that, but that's a tough situation to handle because we don't know what we're going to get with him with kind of the pinched nerve in the neck, and he just hasn't looked right all season. And even in his good starts, there were some red flags as far as like that he may have just outperformed his peripherals. So McCullers has not looked the same, but it's matchup with Texas. Then there's Dylan Bundy or Giolito saves you a couple of bucks, so you could certainly feel good with either of those guys. And then Brady's just like on DraftKings, Brady Singer definitely enters into the conversation after his phenomenal start, almost a no-hitter, where he threw 116 pitches in his last game against the Indians.
Is that a good or a bad thing? Because he's a young arm, why would you push the kid for it tells you that he's able to throw 115 pitches, and that's great. And of course, the context is he almost definitely wouldn't have been throwing that many pitches if he wasn't throwing a no-hitter. So is there some potential pushback on this start where they say, let's keep him down to 85 because he's a young kid, and why will we unleash him once again? Is that
certainly. Yeah. I think it's a negative as far as, from what his pitch count will be tonight, but it's nice to see him perform well and come into his own as a young kid. So maybe he carries that momentum forward. He certainly had his pitch mix working well, but the thing with him, that pitch mix is very, very small. He only has really two main pitches. He sometimes throws a changeup, but he's got like a sinking fastball and a curve a slider that he throws like 40% of the time. So it's basically just those two pitches, and he mixes in a changeup the tiniest bit. So he's a young kid. He's coming off of a really good long start where, he may be a little bit more tired, his arm, and also may not have the length, but also only has two pitches. And if one of those pitches is off on any given night, then you're susceptible to having a really bad night. So there's a lot of red flags there from a comfort standpoint. He's facing the holy grail of matchups against the Tigers. We know what they strike out a ton, lead the league. So you get the high strikeout upside, but that's about it.
I don't know who Eric Haas is. That's the catcher for the Tigers today. It looks like he's making is this his MLB debut?
I think he played yesterday, but I don't know. I don't know if he played yesterday or not, but he's not supposed to be very good.
Yeah. I'm looking at Plate IQ right now, and I was kind of checking out to see, the K numbers potentially for Singer and against this Detroit lineup where Goodrum, in 100 plate appearances versus righties this year, has struck out 41 times. We see some smaller samples to Dimitri at 40%, but Reyes and Castro at the top at 24, 26% respectively. Even Cabrera is striking out these days at 21%, Candelario at 23%. A little bit of power, but, there is some K upside. Of course, Singer's not this great K savant on the season at 21.8%. Also walks too many guys at 8.4%. But generally speaking, like the 1-2 hitters for Detroit this year, 1.8% and 2.8% as far as walking versus righties. That's just terrible. What are they doing? That's not good. So that's what you want to see from a
first pitch swinging is what they're doing.
I was checking out the umpire data as well too in the old lineup HQ, because there was something that did pop for me. I think it was Giolito has. Yeah, I focus on the extremes, and Giolito has an extreme hitters umpire, and that's just one more reason not to play Giolito in cash. You could play him in tournaments for sure, but I mean, do you care about that? I think to some degree, if you need like a tiebreaker of some sort.
Yeah, I don't put like, I mean, I like it. I like it when it matches up. I look at that completely at the end, obviously. So it adds a tiny bit to projection, but not much overall. And some of it can be overstated and people put too much faith into it. So I don't really, it'll move the needle. If it's a close call for me, I'll take the guy with the extreme pitcher umpire, but that's Lance McCullers. So,
I don't want to trust Lance McCullers. Like you said, there have been some red flags. You pull him up as on the old lineup HQ or the plate IQ actually, and we don't know how long he's going to go. Another thing, coming back in the IR, and he wasn't very long with his neck, but still, it is somewhat concerning to some degree. The Ks haven't been there. 19.3% is not a big K number. He walks too many guys. 11.4%. His one skill is the ground ball. 52.2% ground ball, which is really positive. Now, of course, like you said, the matchup is good, and there are a lot of Ks in this lineup. Tavares hitting off at 34%. Gallo at 29.9%, which actually I thought would be higher. That seems like lower than his career rates. Of course, this is against a righty, not all of them collectively, but still, it's kind of a low number for Gallo. Although the power, the ISO is not amazing, which, we could speak to small samples, but this is what we have as far as the season. 195 is not a huge number. Odor and Guzman and even Jeff Mathis in small samples have a bigger ISO than Joey Gallo, which is really kind of weird. But again, that's kind of a small sample thing. I'm almost definitely not playing McCullers. Maybe one lineup in a tournament is like an SP2, but I've been kind of throwing my arms up on him all year long, and that's kind of where I'm at again tonight. I don't think he's going to break the slate. He's not going to go 7 or 8 innings. He can pitch 5 or 6 really solid, but he also tends to labor when he's out there. And he can, have 100 pitches and 5 in the third, and they give him the hook. It's a stay away for me, but I understand why others are playing him. I also see him kind of popping in some optimals, which, that's just not something I'm going to do. What say you as far as McCullers? Have you made a stand just yet?
My stand is to back off on him because he is popping in the optimals, and that is from past projections, from past a lot of it's weighted from last season and the year before that numbers. So I think he's going to be pretty popular tonight. I think he's going to get quite a bit of ownership. His price is cheap. I get it for GPPs, but there's a lot of things we got to be optimistic about, right? We're looking for him to just have that really good start. Yeah, he did have a decent game. He had 2 decent starts this season. One against San Fran, one against Oakland. Oakland was his last one, but we do have that pinched nerve in his neck. And we don't know, like you said, it's a complete guessing game. And it's just been more bad than good. And I don't think, it's just there's such an opportunity cost there with Cole and DeGrom at the top. I feel so confident in what I'm going to get out of those 2 guys, although I felt really damn confident with Flaherty yesterday. And that did not go over so well.
Me too.
Who I don't remember.
We got to have a Dylan Bundy conversation because he's kind of the step down in between McCullers. After Giolito, Bundy's been fabulous this year. He's gonna face a pile of lefties here for Arizona. I was looking at it pre-shows. It's 7 lefties we're looking at. Let's fire up the old plate IQ and see what we have. Well, what's your thoughts as far as Bundy today?
I like him. I mean, he's been great all season. The strikeout stuff is absolutely legit. He's looked like an ace. Now, do I trust him in the same way that I trust those 2 top end guys? I don't, but you get some price savings on him. Not much on Yahoo. What is significant on FanDuel?
His price on DK is 9.1, which is 1.1K difference from Giolito, which is, definitely not significant.
Only 800 from Cole.
Yeah. Which is just, again, but for tournaments and if you want to play the ownership game and yada yada, I totally understand why somebody would do it. And on FanDuel, Bundy is 9.8, DeGrom was 11.7, Cole was 11.5, Giolito was 9.6. Where I think Giolito is much more in play for me on FanDuel than he is on DK, just because of that big price difference. It gets you like probably two bad upgrades depending on how you're looking at it. And I'm mostly playing tournaments over there, so I'm willing to just take whatever sort of variance he's going to give me. Tougher matchup can be wild at times, but also we've seen how electric he can be when his changeup is on. It's like ridiculous. Pitching Ninja is going to be all over it. I'm sure you see that Twitter account. Giolito's always featured there every 5 days. He's pretty awesome. He's really electric, and he's 9.6. McCuller is at 8.1. Bundy more expensive than Giolito. Like Bundy's been very, very good, but I think I'm going to land on Giolito before I get on Bundy. In tournaments, I might do something different, obviously, but for the most part, somebody asked in chat as far as what I'm doing on DK in tournaments. I'm going to do my best to go double barrel. Just give me 2 of those big 3 arms. And there's so many cheap guys out there. We'll talk about the sticks in a second, and of course, Acuna's expensive, Trout's expensive. There's some, but there's so many cheapies. Just the variance of the way they price guys now. There's a pile of dudes that are 2K that you can just make it work, and you can get 2 or 3 big bats, a bunch of cheap bats, and 2 or 3 big arms, and hopefully you hit in the right collection. That's sort of my approach. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing around before show, and it was just everyone's going to want the Yankees tonight, at least because after what they did last night. So I was just toying around with Yankee stacks. So I made a 2, 3, 4, 5 Yankee stack with Cole and DeGrom, and
it was easy, right?
It was way too easy. And then I just had to, I still had Mondesi at shortstop, who's jump the page is a good value, who's completely been heating up. I've bashed that guy all season.
What a wild season he's had. I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but I was thinking. I had this conversation with somebody the other day about Mondesi, and I don't know why we had a conversation for 5 minutes about it, just debating if it's ever happened before. But jack in a bag, bang out a homer, swipe a bag. He did it 3 games in a row. Of course, he was one of the worst hitters in all of baseball, like for the first month of the season. I know season-long guys are all over him too, and of course, you get him mostly for his wheels. Has it ever happened before where a baseball player has hit a home run and swiped the bag in 3 straight games? What do you think? I don't know. Somebody in chat, let us know. Go to StatMuse or something, because I feel like that's probably never happened before. That's a hard thing to do.
Canseco?
That's what. Yeah, we thought Canseco or Henderson are the guys that are most likely to have done that. But like that seems like a hard thing. When you're hitting a homer, your chances of stealing a base are lessened. So
correct.
Yeah, that seems like a hard thing to do. I wonder if that's happened 3 times in a row, 3 games in a row. I don't know if you can Google such things. Only you can type that into a machine. You can spit out an answer. But yeah,
Siri. Oh no. I hope I didn't set off Siri.
Well, who's the leadoff hitter for the Yankees? You're not playing LeMahieu?
Well, I couldn't fit him, but like I was just toying around. So it's like you could get 2, 3, 4, 5, which are certainly power bat. You get Judge, Hicks, Voit, Ursula, and with Cole and DeGrom. I mean, that's just too easy to do. And so you can pretty much do any stack you want with those 2 pitchers as long as you play the value bats around them. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's kind of sort of pricey too, depending on who you're getting there. They're going to be popular with a 6 total against Aiken, who I think this guy has had control issues, fly ball issues, are locked in for 9 innings. It is cool there for what it's worth. I was checking out Weather Edge earlier today, Kevin Ross Weather Edge, and I don't think there was anything popping, but of course, weather is fluid and things change. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything interesting here in a decent-sized sample. Nothing so much. Oh, well, Detroit, in a 220-game sample, we got home runs getting a bump of 15.9%, runs getting a bump of 5.9%, and ERA getting a bump of 8%. I don't know if the sample's big enough for you, but in Baltimore, 34 games, we've seen a bump of 27% as far as homers and a negative as far as runs. So that's kind of wonky. That's kind of weird, right? And that probably speaks to I don't trust any of this because like it doesn't get into pitcher, who was pitching in what game.
Well, it's a bigger sample. You got
a huge sample over time. It'll even out. Correct. I get that. But like we don't have big samples on these. So I'll tell you, my dew point system is more accurate.
I don't think that exists. I think you're just making it up.
No, it exists. It's real.
The patent is expired. That patent's been you've had it done.
It's pending. It's patent pending, Dean.
You can't have it pending indefinitely. At some point, they say, "All right, your patent's expired. You stop paying the payments." I don't know how that
These
works.
things take time. They take time. I mean, there's great humidity. The temperature's not great, but there's great humidity and the wind's blowing out a little bit in Baltimore. So I like that game. I think the Braves are probably the top stack tonight.
Yeah, Braves and Yankees, I think, are pretty clear. Houston's pretty cheap on DK. You can make them work. And Cleveland's really cheap, too. The tricky part with Cleveland is, you got guys like Luplow and DeShields that, like, when a righty comes in, what happens? Do they get the hook instantly? Are you only getting 2 at-bats for Luplow? Are you only getting 2 at-bats into DeShields? How's that going to work? We don't know. But understand there is a potential pitch at risk, but also understand if they homer in the first inning, who cares?
Well, I didn't even see DeShields at 2.2K. Plus, you get the stolen base upside against Leicester.
Yeah, I think Leicester has to some degree. I think it's worth checking out. I think he's subdued his stolen base.
He's definitely gotten better. But DeShields is going to be running. They wouldn't be putting him up there if he wasn't.
Yeah, it was so much fun playing Billy Hamilton versus John Lester back in the day. Not only did he steal a bunch of bases against somebody, he had like 3 homers too against him, which is egregious. I don't know how that happened, like 20 at bats or something. You ever want to have some fun with BBP? Check out Hamilton versus Lester. It's pretty interesting. Summarize the arms. What else is there? Anything else we should mention here? Cole Hamels is back throwing baseballs. Don't expect him to throw a lot of baseballs tonight. Maybe get 3 innings in or something like that. I don't see any reason to play. Well, Caleb Smith. We're the same deal with Caleb Smith. Like, they're not going to push him. I expect maybe 3 or 4 innings. He was pitching okay last time, and he went 3 innings. And maybe you get 3 or 4 innings again against the Angels. Is that enough? You talk about the opportunity cost of pitching. If everything goes well, I suppose he can get like 12 points. He can't get the win. I guess it's possible you throw 5 innings, but it seems unlikely, in my opinion. So I'm not touching these guys. And again, it's very easy to make lineups we like already with elite arms. So what's the point outside of being, just different?
Yeah. So the only other guy that I would mention here, I mean, like, so we have too many like those. Keegan Aiken is just, you can't do it. He's got some talent in him, but he's completely raw and young. You can't do him. You can't do guys like Kyle Gibson, who've just been terrible, or Odorizzi, who've been terrible and are coming back off of injury, who are just not going to go along. Cole Hamels is in that same boat. I don't like him at all in this, and I like the San Francisco bats, and it's actually my sharp side play of the day. But if I had to take like a completely cheap guy, maybe it's Newsom. He's got some talent in him. He went super short because he got hit against San Francisco. He got hit in the wrist from a hit, and they had to take him out of the game. I totally side with San Francisco in this game, but like if I had to take a shot, it would be him because he does have some strikeout upside in him. He has done pretty well in the minors, and he went to he didn't go to the Bauer place, but he went to one of those places where they're developing, and he totally added a bunch of heat to his fastball, like went from like throwing like 88, 89 to like 94. So people are kind of high on him. So he's just interesting, but Caleb Smith, I don't think you can do because like he may go 50 pitches. He might go 60 pitches, but that's probably like the max. Then Leicester, I don't really want any part of. Scooball would be.
They're asking about Scooball in the chat. I can't do it, but give me a Scooball pitch.
I don't want to do it. I'd much rather take Singer. So I don't think you can, but I think it could work out. So for GPPs, I can get it. I'm not going to have him.
He said, 5 or 6 starts, and he's yet to throw more than 78 pitches. Yeah. Young arm, why are they going to push him? And we've seen Detroit all season long. They're not pushing anybody. Like, why would they push him?
Yeah. Smiley's back. We have pitch count concerns too with him. I guess the matchup is good. So you could go there, but I won't be. But like Savali would be the only guy that no one's really talking about that I would potentially play, just because that he can go over 100 pitches. He does have some strikeout upside in him, although he's not a strikeout pitcher. But and then we know that the Cubs will strike out, so he would be like the last guy that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah,
but like it's
the chat, by the way, is all over. They're all over Scooball. They're saying that how bad the back half of that Royals lineup is, and like I don't disagree with that. I just don't know how many times he's not going to pitch to him 3 times the back half. So maybe not even the front half. We'll see. Go ahead.
Got a nice dew point in Detroit tonight too. Yeah, but that front half looks pretty potent, for sure. With Merrifield, Mondesi, Salvador Perez, Miguel Franco, Hunter Dozier. Oliveras is a cheap punt that I'm interested. I played him last night like an idiot and lost. But like if I was going to play him against Boyd, I got to play him against Scuball again.
I just realized how rude of me. I forgot to ask you, at least maybe I forgot if I asked. You kind of put it in there as far as your I was just so excited about me and the prospect of me extending my streak to 6 as far as the sharp side app. I didn't ask what your pick was. Your pick was what again? The Seattle
it was over. It's over in the San Francisco Giants run total, which you can either take at 4.5 and be minus some juice, or over 5. I like it in general. I think Newsom's going to go very long in this game. This is the second. They know what kind of a little bit to expect because they saw a little bit of him. Already there's some tape on him now. So they know what to expect out of him, and I don't think he's going to go very long. And that bullpen is just absolutely horrendous. So I like the over in this game in general because I think you're going to get to both bullpens relatively quickly in this game, and both bullpens are really bad. They're Seattle has the worst xFIP on the slate and in the league at 5.68 from a bullpen, and right behind them is the Giants at 5.36. So, man, these are two bullpens that you can definitely pick on. So I just think there's going to be a lot of runs in this game.
Shout out to Yizban who found this for us in the chat. Apparently it's only happened 2 times what I was referencing before. A dude banging out a homer and swiping a bag in the same game, 3 consecutive games, jacking a bag 3 times in a row. Montes, he just did it. And Bobby Abreu, there you go. Bobby Abreu. Remember was that during his Philadelphia years possibly where he was fabulous and he crushed the home run derby? I don't recall exactly when that was, but yeah, he stole some bases for a while. Nice pull there, Yizban. Do want to mention, of course, Premium's going to be after us at 6:30. You got Cheese is Good, Mr. Tuttle, Kevin Roth will tell you what's going on weather-wise. Take you guys all up to lock as far as what's going on in MLB. Any sort of changes, they'll keep you updated on that. Later on tonight, 7:30 Eastern, PGA, I believe one of the majors is this weekend. I'm not necessarily a golf guy. What is it, the U.S. Open, I believe? Toe Tag and Tambo, STL cards for Premium members. And then after that, 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, football. You got Eric Crane, John Daigle, and Rich Rebar talking the Pick Six. You have a weekly show, do you not, as far as football? Tell people where that is.
Yeah, Tournament Takes podcast. It's me, Toe Tag and Tambo, and Killer B 2482. Comes out on Fridays every week. We had it last year with JSU, but he's no longer with us. And Toe Tag and Tambo slid right in.
What's 2482? I don't know what that is. What's that?
I don't know. Who knows?
Is that a thing? Is that the name?
I think that's his screen name.
Oh, I thought that was like a reference to the show or something like that. That's the name of the screen name. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, it was throwing me off there.
Brett Hartfield.
Yeah. I know Killer B. Really good player. Good dude too. All right, let's talk some catchers. You like any catchers tonight? Do you have money for catchers? I don't know if I do.
You do have money for catchers if you want to, if you prioritize it. I'm not prioritizing it, but I guess my favorite high-end play would be Darnold, just because has, in Baltimore with that dew point, and my dew point system is off the charts on this one. So we've got that. Wind's going out a little. Batting cleanup against Aiken, also a poor bullpen. Then there's Salvador Perez against Scuball, with the platoon. Those two are the top 2 guys on the high end. Grindal is up there too against Odorizzi. 4,700. He's got to pay the most for him. The guy I like, if I'm going down, let me just see if we got a lineup.
Hey, Yankee stack, you're getting Sanchez or Higashioka. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off or anything, but you mentioned the Yankees before. Which one are you putting in there? If you got to pick between, obviously, it's a money thing.
I want the bombs. I want Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
But Luis Torrens is a guy who came over from the Padres in that trade, who's a pretty talented kid and has a decent bat and should get like a 5, 6, or 7 spot in the lineup. And he's 2,200 and gets the platoon against Smiley. In that game, I told you that's where I like a lot of runs to be scored, a lot of bullpen action in this one. So he's my punt if he cracks that lineup, which I think he will.
I like that Bart is not stuck hitting at home. Like he is hitting at home, but technically at home he's playing the visitor, and that'll increase his chances to get those 4 ABs much greater. Obviously a big prospect there, 3.3K, pretty fair price. If I'm not flat out putting it, he's my favorite guy in the mid tier. Of course, if I had all the money in the world, I want a guy like Darno. I want a guy like Sanchez, go for all the power, but I don't know if I can get there. We live in the world of a salary cap, yada, yada, yada. One way to save some salary tonight and actually get a good actual player, and I know me and you aren't really big fans of Brandon Belt, but at a certain point, the price is too good. And let's give him some credit. He's been better this year than we've expected. More power shown as well, too. And again, he's hitting on the road. He's on the road once again tonight in San Francisco. So he's got a shot at getting those 5 ABs that things are going really well. And why is he priced at 3.2K? That's my cash game first baseman today on DK.
Yeah, I'm back on board with Bell. He's one of the top values on the slate. His StatCast numbers are pretty darn good this season, so he's definitely come back. Maybe it was injuries that held him back for the last couple of seasons, but he's going through a little bit of a rough patch in his last couple of games. But he's been pretty darn consistent with some upside. He's cheap, gets a good matchup in a game I like. Yeah, he's a good play.
Luke Voigt, of course, if you have some salary, what does he have? Is it 18 home runs this year? It's an insane number. Plenty of power out of Voigt.
He's got 18. He's taking the lead, I think.
And, not a big sample, obviously, on Roark, but Roark this season, as far as yielding homers, in 35 innings, he's yielded 2.55 homers per 9 in Yankee Stadium versus some boppers. I like Voigt a good bit, Greg. Love him for tournaments. I just don't think I'm going to have the salary to get him in my cash games. If not Voigt, if not Belt, where else are you looking? Freeman. Yeah, you can play Freeman against the lefty perfectly fine there. And, of course, he's going to get a couple at bats against that bullpen as well, too. And maybe people steer away just because it's lefty on lefty, but that's kind of silly, obviously, especially in tournaments. Give me a couple other guys at first base.
Yeah, there's so I'm just home run hunting. There's Hunter Dozier, who's certainly capable of hitting some homers in 4K. There's Carlos Santana's cheap. And I would hate kind of playing him as a one-off. I would probably want him more as part of my stacks, but can be done. Voigt is obviously the monster home run threat. Christian Walker is another guy that could take Bundy deep, 3,500, probably going to get overlooked tonight. And a guy I really like that I don't think anyone was going to play is Renato. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not Renato Jose Lopez, is it?
No, it's
Jose Abreu is what I meant. Yeah.
I mean, no, I certainly, if I have the money to pay for him, then I do like him, but he is kind of pricey. But Renato Nunez has pop. You're only going to get a few innings where he's got the platoon against Hamels, but you're going to get some bullpen arms too. But he's just a home run threat every time. He's 3,700.
Yeah, as a general rule, I would just say, especially we talk about the lefty on lefty stuff, Hamels might only see some of these guys 1 or 2 times, no more than 2. I can't imagine they're going to push them very much, and you're going to get a lot of bullpen arms, and most likely it's going to be righty. Is there a circular saw going on in the background? Is there some craftsmanship in your building?
Yeah, I hear it. I hear some.
What is that noise?
No idea. I guess someone just chopping up a body or something in the background.
I don't know. They're reenacting Fargo or something there. What do you have for me at the Keystone position, second base? The Dominion of Jose Altuve is super cheap, but is he any good anymore?
I don't know, but all these guys are going to start hitting the ball better, right? Springer's back. That guy's been hitting leadoff homers left and right. So I certainly like him as part of stacks. And I mean, if you just take overall talent from, the last few years and you just trust the overall talent, then he's a great play. Certainly he's been ice cold, but whatever. But Josh Van Meter is 2,300 and batting second. So if you need a value play, boom, you just throw him in.
He's not good, but he's cheap.
Yeah. I mean, he's okay. He's got some pop. Rojas is 3,500 leading off. He's I don't know. No, I think he's really cheap on FanDuel. Is that correct?
You're talking about Rojas? Yeah, Rojas I think it's 2-2 over there or something like that again. Yeah. I'm more on the Bundy side than the Rojas Van Meter side, but I understand why people are playing, and I might be forced to play 1 or 2 of those guys also just because, of salary restrictions. But I'm not happy about clicking that button. I only do it because I like everything else that it gets me.
And there's Wilmer.
I'm told you can't play Wilmer versus a righty. Is that not true?
I mean, you're going to hope a lefty comes in the bullpen.
Oh, well.
And then it's going to be a home run, and then you're going to see the big T tweets. And
he can't take a victory lap on if he hits a homer off the lefty bullpen arm, can he? I mean, I guess he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. but that seems like a lot to bank on. And, LeMahieu, we like the Yankees a good bit. Of course, he's pretty pricey. He's probably better as a stack guy, but, he's also, it's a really, really good stick. And I hate saying like a floor play, but he's like a good floor cash game guy. But, of course, everybody's floor is 0, obviously. Tyler Wade is 2-2, but he's terrible.
Yeah, he's bad. I'd prefer Aledmus Diaz. I think he's going to crack the lineup. He's coming back off injury, but they said he was good to go. But Correa got hurt last night.
No, he's playing Correa.
Oh, he is? Did the lineup
Yeah,
come out?
I think he's got a wrist, but I saw he's going to be in the lineup tonight. Unless something changed or unless he got late scratched. I was thinking the same thing as well. Yeah.
I don't even see a lineup yet.
I saw a note on Twitter where somebody was saying he's going to play, but
I'll trust you on that one.
Well, don't, because I'm checking out the RG lineups and I see nothing as far as the Astros. So maybe that changed. Maybe I saw a bad tweet. I don't know, but stay tuned. Yeah, I thought he was coming back tonight. Maybe the chat can help us out in that. But yeah, I thought he was playing tonight after seeing something on Twitter. But stay tuned. We'll know soon enough, I'm sure. Anything else that's worth the note, or shall we move on?
Move on.
Hot corner, third base. I think is this the weakest position on this? I don't like third base.
It pretty much is. It's pretty much Bregman or nothing. Or if you got the money, you got to pay all the way up for Rendon. Jose Ramirez too. I mean, there's a couple of high end guys, but they're all it's tough to fit them. But I think Bregman is kind of just like the guy at 4,800.
Yeah,
I expect this Astros lineup to start hitting as they're getting healthier and coming back into playoffs. I expect Bregman to start turning it on. So I would have confidence playing him against Gibson. Has just been awful this season, and you're going to get into some a decent bullpen to attack too. Other than that, like the Austin Riley at like 4K, certainly a guy that if he how many at bats he gets with the platoon advantage is a guy that we want. I mean, he's definitely a home run threat every time he's up.
Better play on FanDuel where it's like 2.6 for the record.
Sure.
I mean, you can play him on DK, obviously. Jose Ramirez, if you have all the salary, is 5.4K. I'm okay with Franco, that top half, that can't see a lineup. I like Franco, a good bit.
For sure.
Yeah. And Rendon, nobody's going to play Rendon, I don't think. His price is kind of out there at 5.8K. I believe he's facing a lefty to start, but he's probably only going to get 2 ABs versus that lefty. Doesn't matter. He's got the power versus anybody, obviously. Anything else at third that's worth a mention? I didn't mean to cut you off, but we got to speed things up because we're a few minutes behind, unfortunately. We got like 6 to 7 minutes before we step aside to make way for crunch time. If you have any final thoughts at third base, feel free to fire away. Otherwise, let's pivot to shortstop.
No, just Urshela. He's cheap enough to be able to fit. He certainly had a hell of a game last night. Shortstop, it's Adalberto Mondesi, who's we've already mentioned that's been coming on. Dansby Swanson is certainly in play in that. Gotta like the Braves tonight. Lindor is kind of a high-end spend that may get overlooked a little bit because it's tough to do. Other than that, who's got great StatCast numbers this season is Iglesias at 3,600.
That's surprising. Yeah. Yeah. You don't think of him as like a StatCast hero.
No, but like really, really good numbers all season long. So it's like he's been performing. So I think it's pretty real, at least for the time being. And he's cheap, right? Like, so I don't feel bad. He's batting second. So I'm fine using him. Nico Goodrum on, might create a little leverage off of Singer. That's about it.
And again, I just want to mention, it feels like we're not mentioning any White Sox. I know that Minnesota bullpen's pretty good. Of course, if you get to Odorizzi early, you're not going to get the best of those arms. It wouldn't make any sense. I just think they're going to go heavily neglected. And we like to bet against lefties, obviously, but yeah.
It's pricing, right? Like it's Tim Anderson's 5,500, Abreu's extremely expensive. Everybody's expensive. So it's like, that's like a stack you're going to have to do like McCullers and Singer or something like that to finagle that one.
Yeah, I mean, we typically like them against lefties, but Odorizzi historically can be reverse splitsy. So, they are kind of sneaky. But like you said, the salary cap restraints obviously going to have them their ownership subdued for sure. Let's jump to the outfield, and then there are some super cheap guys in the outfield that can kind of make things work. Of course, if you have all the money in the world, you want to get some shares of Acuna, Ozuna, Trout. Who's your favorite big spend in the outfield? And then I this question in chat, which is the question I had pre-show. I was trying to staring at it. I couldn't really figure it out. I might just end up splitting it. We'll see. Aaron Judge, 4.8K versus Roark. He's basically the same price as Ozuna. Who do you prefer amongst those two?
So I'm torn. Like if they both have been great this season, right? For when they've been healthy. As far as hard contact goes, like Judge is 20th from qualified at bats on the season. Just
is he qualified?
I have it set to over 60 plate appearances. So
okay.
Anyways, he was crushing the ball. Now maybe his timing's off coming back now, but maybe it's not. I mean, maybe he's ready to go. And if this is a good to go Aaron Judge, then you have to like him in this matchup. And a guy who throws strikes or throws balls over the plate without much heat in Tanner Roark. So Judge certainly home run threat. Yeah, and Ozuna's comes in at 14th in hard contact. I mean, he's had a hell of a season too, and he gets the platoon. I like both a lot. I would feel more confident with Ozuna, but I'm playing. I like them both.
Let's knock out some questions.
Might just play them both.
I might too, but also salary cap restraints might not let me do that. And then, Willie Calhoun is McCullers. We think he's at least a decent pitcher. I don't really want to pick on him per se, but Tavares and Calhoun are each 2K. They're 2K and they're batting 1-2. Gallo and all that power is just 4K. More of a tournament guy than a cash guy. But if you're playing, MMEing, I think he's definitely got to be in your pool to some extent. And there's probably going to be some leverage in that as well, because I think McCullers at least is going to grab some ownership. A couple other guys that are super, super cheap. I saw I talked about Calhoun in the chat. He got all his revenge out last night versus what a matchup that was. Mad Bum versus Tehran. Like just two, absolute. What's the word we use as far as the arms that are shot these days? Well, they're not very good.
Dusty, washed.
Yeah, washed. Yeah, there you go. Pylon. Dwight of the Shields is 2.2K. Luplow's 2.2K. These are DK prices, not FanDuel prices.
It's too easy to do whatever you want as long as you just grab a couple of these bats. And these are decent bats in good spots. Like,
is Seattle and San Fran playing today? The plan is the game was scheduled for Seattle, and they're now in San Francisco. They're playing in San Francisco. San Francisco is playing the role of the visiting team. So San Fran will be visiting Seattle in San Fran, if that makes sense. Do you prefer DeShields or Calhoun as a punt? That's Willie Calhoun.
I'm going to say give me the Luplow homer instead.
Okay.
But Calhoun would be I'm always chasing home run upside. DeShields, you get the stolen base upside, but so I would go Luplow is my favorite. Then I would go Willie Calhoun and then DeShields.
They're saying,
but I would put Olivares ahead of them. It's too well. I mean that kid swings hard. Like he's up there to like crush the ball he's not a huge power guy. He's quick, but like he swings hard, man. Like he's got I want my guy swinging like he does when they're 2000.
Okay, there's a question that says Jorge Soler 2000 on DK, but he's not playing, right? Isn't Soler not? He's hurt. Yeah, I don't see him in the lineup. So don't play. I mean, it's a great price if he was available, but don't play him. Gary Sanchez or Riley, this is a utility FanDuel spot. Who do you prefer? Austin Riley or Gary Sanchez?
Yeah, Riley. I'd take Riley.
Acuna versus Ozuna and FanDuel Cash. You got to go Acuna.
Yep, correct.
Yeah. Give me a couple stacks you like. Give me like the kind of sort of chalky ones, or give me somebody off the board. If you have somebody off the board you think's gonna be.
Well, I'll tell you the chalk is the Yankees, obviously, because of last night. And you can make it happen. The ones that I'm looking at, there's two that I like a lot. I really like the Giants tonight, and then I really like the Astros. I think the Astros are going to start hitting. They may go a little bit overlooked. They're certainly real. I mean, you can fit them very easily, and I expect them to have a good night. Brantley's too cheap. Bregman is there. There's Kyle Tucker. Altuve's cheap, but he works his stacks, and Springer's back. Like he's been crushing the ball.
All right, a quick hitter or two. Hicks versus Duvall. Cash.
Hicks.
I didn't pronounce that correctly. That's Duval. That person must be living in Jacksonville. Duval County, of course. Thoughts on Wheeler? I'm not really picking on him, and I'm not really rostering him. I think he's going to be okay, but I don't think this is a slate for him. What do you say?
Yeah, isn't he just coming back off of I kind of didn't look much into him. I had no interest in him today. But isn't he coming back from injury?
I'm not sure. I didn't fully dig into him either, unfortunately. But we are.
Yeah, he ripped a fingernail or something.
That's what it was. He's got a nail. Yeah. We got to go, but give me 2 guys that are going to homer tonight.
Let me look at my lineup. Well, Luplow is going to homer for me because I'm going to be optimistic.
Better do it early.
And I mean, the easy one again is Voit is going to continue to keep going.
That's Kirk D's. This was baseball. I was Dean. For sure. Yeah, and stay tuned for Crunch Time. You all get Kevin Roth, Chief Meteorologist. You got Cheese is Good, Dave Potts, and Mr. Tuttle taking you guys live to lock. Later on, PGA content with Toe Tag and Tambo, STL cards. And then later on, even after that, NFL show, Rich Rebar, Daigle, and Eric Crane. We're out of here. Holler. Good luck.